Hello and welcome to the Philippines. What should you bring to the Philippines? Going to depend upon your short time or a long time stay, obviously. I've done a previous video about what are you allowed to bring into the Philippines, and I will link that video at the end of this video. But what should you bring? And my list got quite long. Some of the things are going to surprise you. I'm going to touch on some things that you might not think about. Talk about the electrical current here. And anyway, I am. The rest of this video is a hobble hobble ride, which is a motorcycle taxi going from Cebu City, uptown area, over to Mandaue City. I'm meeting a friend and subscriber over there for dinner. And anyway, come along. Number one, bring not bring a good attitude, not an attitude, but bring a good attitude. Because when you show up and you're dealing with immigration and customs people, they have the ability. They're very kind, very tolerant. But if I think there was a couple hundred people, I forget the number, a couple hundred of foreigners who tried to come into the Philippines last year, and they said, nope, get back on the plane. You're not staying in the Philippines, just based on their attitude. Don't start arguing with them. Smiles go a long ways here. What else? Well, you have to bring your passport. Should have at least 6 months still available on it, and if you're staying long term, I would suggest from the U.S. you can get a 10-year passport. Why not get a 10-year passport? Other countries, I'm not sure what their policies are. You're going to bring some money. Bring clean cash. No rips, no tears, no writing on them, because most places will not accept that. And if they do, they're going to give you a much lower rate. And hundreds and fifties are preferred. If you start bringing them smaller bills, you're probably going to get a smaller, worse exchange rate as well. Our exchange rate has been very, very good for well over a year. When I came in 2015, it was 48.5, and now it's up. It's over 10 pesos more. 50, about 58, right around that 58. It drops down to 57 something, jumps back up to 58, and it's expected to stay right in that area. You never know, anything can happen, but in that area throughout the year, may or may not. And when you get here, exchange that cash at the airport if you land at the airport, or if you come in on a cruise ship, that's another option. Exchange that money. I would say, get at least $100 worth of pesos, and be sure to get some small bills, because a lot of these people do not have change for 1,000 pesos. 1,000 pesos is about $20, actually less. But a lot of taxis, other places will not have change for that. Medication, I think you can, technically you can bring 90 days supply of prescription medications in the Philippines, I believe. I think a lot of people bring more than that, and there are never questions about it. Bring your prescriptions. I've heard some people say they've just shown pharmacists here their pill bottle with their name and what it is, and they've been able to renew their prescription that way, but not necessarily going to happen everywhere. I've also had some people tell me that they don't recognize the U.S. doctors. You need to get a Philippine doctor to write that prescription. And I've had a number of comments over the years. It is difficult to get opiate type pain relievers here. Even when I was a year and a half ago, when I broke my shoulder, I was in the hospital. They gave me 3 different types of painkillers, and I was in a lot of pain. Took 2 days before the doctor, and they had surgical nurses available for me to get operated on, and they told me even in the hospital it's hard for them to get the higher end narcotic type painkillers. Over-the-counter stuff, you can get a lot of that stuff here, but what I suggest, bring a list of the things that you like to have over the counter. It's not like in the U.S. where you can just pick these things off of the shelf, put them in your cart, and go to a cashier. Most of this over the counter stuff is actually behind the cashier counter, and you have to go there. When I first came here, tried to get some Tums, acid reliever type stuff, and they didn't know what I was talking about. Found one place that had that type of thing. Depends. I don't take that much type of stuff very often, but I have found ranitidine, something they have in the U.S. In fact, I think a number of years ago they pulled it off the shelf in the U.S. because they found that if they gave enough of that to rats, enough to kill a horse, they overdosed on rats, they would get some kind of cancer or something. But I occasionally take that. The product I prefer, and it's been so long I don't even remember the name of it anymore. I cannot get there. I can find, they have different types of things that do the same thing. Phillips of magnesia. Almost impossible to find here. In fact, the bottle that I have, a subscriber brought to me. Very, very rare that I use it. In fact, I had them bring it over because unflavored, because I make magnesium water instead of taking magnesium supplements. I make my own magnesium water, and I have a video up about that. And even this unflavored one that he brought me, it's got a lot of this stuff, for whatever reason, has a little bit of bleach in it, which is not what you want. But I'll try to find that video, put a link to it at the end of this as well. It's inexpensive. You mix. Right now, I found a place I could buy magnesium hydroxide, and I mix. I get about 1 liter of Perrier carbonated water, and I put I think a half a teaspoon of magnesium hydroxide in that, shake it up, and it has chemical reaction, and I take a couple drinks of that throughout the day, and that gives me my magnesium. Anyway, there are certain things that are difficult to find here. Can't even find it online. You can find some things online, like magnesium hydroxide. A few other things I've had to go online and try to find. Some things I can't find. To make El Ruteri yogurt. Some of you are familiar with that. Very good strain of bacteria for your gut, your intestinal system. And I found something similar to that I've been using to make yogurt. But anyway, let's get on with it here. How about phones? You should bring an unlocked phone. Unlocked meaning in the U.S., a lot of these cellular companies, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, others, if you buy the phone through them, they will lock it, so you can only use it in their system. If you're coming here short time, you can tell them that I'm traveling internationally. Will you unlock my phone for 1 month? Something like that. If you're coming here long term, and I bought online, I bought on Amazon, I bought an unlocked phone that had 2 SIM slots, and that worked for me. I could put I put Globe and Smart, and there's another new company here. I could put 2 different phone SIMs in, and I can, because as you move around the Philippines, one phone company has better service in some areas than others. And even in the U.S., I don't know if you can have a dual SIM phone there, or 2 different carriers on the same phone. Didn't used to be able to do that. And there was a time when I was traveling much of Southwest USA that I carried 3 different phones. This would have been 15, 20 years ago. 3 different phones, because some companies, one company wouldn't have any service some places. There's also such a thing as eSIM. You can get it's a software that you can download. A number of different companies offer that, and that's a video for another time. And you don't have to get a physical SIM, you get an eSIM. You can also ask your carrier, you can pay for an international plan, and I did that with T-Mobile when I first came here, because you want an international plan. Otherwise, especially if you're on data, man, you might end up with $1,000 roaming bill over here, and you don't want to be roaming on data unless you're on an international plan. And that cost me $30 a month, and that worked. I think with T-Mobile, they had some kind of contract with Smart, I think. The data on it was extremely slow, so after a few months I dropped it. I now have Google Fi, which works in over 100 countries all over the world. But and I use it for my second two-factor authentication for my bank and credit card companies. But they shut off my data. It still works for the two-factor authentication, but Google's policy is if you're out of the U.S. most of the time, they will not allow you on the data plan because it's a pretty good deal, and they don't want to get taken advantage of, I guess. What about chargers? What about these phones? Do you need most phones, most electronics? My laptops. I've got a laptop I bought in America. I've got two laptops I bought here. Phones and such, most of that type of thing, electronic gadgets, except there are exceptions I'll talk about, are dual voltage. They will operate on 110 volts and 220 volts, no problem. Make sure it says that on your in your owner's manual, or on the might say it on the charging plug, might say it 110 to 220 or 240. I've had guys that have brought blenders here from the US, 110 volt blenders, power tools, drills, saws, and such. They will burn up if you plug them in, use them here, unless you get a voltage, what do you call that? My mind is blank. Voltage regulator, something that will bump you up or bump you down depending upon what voltage you are using. I think most, like electric shavers, I don't think they're dual. And if you plug a 110 into a 220 socket here in the Philippines or other countries, you're going to burn it up. So yeah, just check what you're planning on bringing over. I would recommend bringing a magnifying glass, because so many of the things here you buy these medicines, over-the-counter medicines, and they've got such small writing. And if you're one like me that reads ingredients in the grocery stores, a lot of the things in the grocery stores, they sell them to many different countries, and they've got their ingredients listed in many different languages, and it's so small that it's very difficult to read. So bring a small foldable magnifying glass, foldable so it doesn't get scratched up. If you have some favorite item, shaving cream is available here. I haven't had, a friend of mine told me he had a hard time finding shaving cream, but I haven't been, and I'll usually buy, when I'm half done, I'll go and buy some, make sure they don't run out, because out of stock, sir, is a favorite saying here. I do have a shaver. I use Schick shavers, Extreme 3. That's about the only shaver, disposable shaver, but I can use it several times. About the only shaver that I don't cut my face up using. And even in the U.S., I had a hard time finding those at Costco. Apparently, Gillette offers these retailers a lot better deal. And you can find a lot more Gillette products here, and that's the shaving cream I buy. But the razors, you can find those expensive razors with 3 and 4 and 5 different blades, and I've tried all of those, and they just don't work very well for me. The Schick Extreme 3 works best. I can find Schick 2 here, but just not the same. Toiletries, a lot of the U.S. brands are available here. The shampoos, underarm deodorant, little things like that. I've been able to find no problem. As far as clothes, I can find clothes here. Most people wear mostly shorts here, cargo pants or different types of shorts. If you're a big man, and in the U.S. I'm medium, I wear medium shirts. Here their sizes are different, and I've got to get extra large or 2 times extra large for my clothes. I wear a size 9.5 to 10 shoe. There again, depends on who makes the shoe. I can find those here. People tell me that much bigger than that is difficult to find here. I do recommend, especially if you're going to do any walking at all, get yourself a good pair of something like deck shoes, something that's supposed to be good on slippery surfaces like a boat surface, because yeah, you can be walking down the street and somebody's throwing some water out on the sidewalk or road, and all of a sudden this turns like ice. I will do a different video soon about shopping and what you can find and can't find in the supermarkets and online here. For instance, when I first came here, it was very difficult to find apple cider vinegar, but now many places have an abundance of it. I don't have a problem with it usually. I would suggest, especially if you're going to be here longer term, bring a water purification straw, something to purify water. I've never had to use it, but you know, if you're out and about and in the provinces, you never know. And buy a good one. Buy a good one that does the best job. Solar panel. I brought a foldable solar panel. I can find them here online, but it's foldable. You can throw it in my suitcase or my backpack. It's not that light, but it's not that heavy. I would bring one from the U.S. The brands here, I'm not sure how good they are or how long they last. You know, I brought a small 10-inch laptop from the U.S. and it's still going, although it's very slow, very difficult to do video editing on it. I've bought 2 laptops here, and I don't know. I've had more trouble with these. They've both been in for repairs in the first couple of years, and I don't know if we get the electronics, if you get lower quality here or not. Just not sure. You can find little things like pens. They have office supply stores, things. You can find those types of things if you need them. If you are requiring and taking higher end drugs, what I suggest you do, because I've had people ask me, and I would say look up there's several big chains here in the Philippines spread around, and email them, tell them what you're taking, and ask them if it's available and what you need to get it here. I've had a friend of mine that has insomnia, that has a hard time sleeping, and he got a prescription for sleeping pills, and they told him that doctor isn't authorized to write those prescriptions. You need to go back, find a different doctor to get you that prescription. And he did. He was able to get it. I'm sure I have missed something, so I'm looking forward to hearing about that in the comments. Yeah, we weren't allowed to do a left-hand turn up there, so we had to go down the street, do a U-turn. Very common here. No left turns. A lot of people go down, make a U-turn, make a right, make a U-turn. I know this guy, use him often. I paid him $150. Filipino would probably pay 70 or 80. Taxi would be closer to 200 pesos to come over here. Anyway, Park Mall across to my left, Times Square to my right, and big hotel right up here. Anyway, thanks for coming along, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.